in this prayer box and their friends and families. We know that all we have to do is ask, and we can receive. And we ask for healing in body, mind, and spirit for each name and their needs that are in the prayer box. We thank you for all the blessings that you bestow on us every day, and we especially thank you for our Unity Church. Amen. Also, we have prayer chaplains who are on duty today, and if those prayer chaplains would stand, anyone that needs prayer for any reason can pray with one of these people, or they can pray out here somewhere, or they can go into the prayer room and pray privately. Thank you.
Do we have anybody that is expressing how truth changed their life? Anybody today? Okay. Meditation by taking some nice full 3-part breaths, those big belly breaths. And as you do so, notice any tension in your body, direct your breath there to release that. Know that you're safe, that the chair is supporting you. And this is the time when we just quiet our minds and connect to that higher self, that divinity within us. That when we connect there, our whole life flows easier. And so let's just take this time, a few minutes in the quiet, to be still and to connect. And now as we gently and quietly come back to this time and place, we give thanks for any insights that we've received, and we remind ourselves how easy it is just to take a minute or two out of our day and quiet our mind and center our consciousness. It makes us more present and more aware. Thank you, God. Amen. Okay, let us say our statement of peace. We, the people of Unity of the Villages, join Unity Worldwide Ministries in its stand for peace. Unity stands for peace. Unity stands for love. Unity stands for forgiveness. We call ourselves higher up in consciousness to be that positive change right here, right now. Our prayer is for self-realization, God-realization. Together, from our divine essence, we command all nations, their leaders, and their people to turn to God by whatever the name. For guidance to pursue peace, for this is what honors the God of all faith traditions. Unity stands for peace in our lifetime. Amen. And let us say the prayer for our permanent spiritual home. We give thanks for the manifestation of our new church home that is mortgage-free in the year 2016. We are grateful for the knowing of this truth, and we say thank you, Spirit, thank you, God, and so it is. Amen.
What would I do if I knew that I could not fail? If I believe, would the wind always fill up my sail? How far could I go? What would I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk a razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you do if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of the sea, are the miracles in you and me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear, or the voice of courage whisper in my ear. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave?
I don't know how many people like that little cute beard Tony sported. Yeah, it's really cute. I was looking last night, they're like, whoa, that guy looks cute. All right. Just to embarrass him a little, you know. All right, so those of you that are going tonight to see Donna's show, you're just in for a treat. It's wonderful, and it's so much love and effort and support going into another fundraiser for our permanent spiritual home. God bless you all. And, our choir is the backup singers, and I think we got some like actors and actresses in there. Cool. Okay, I want to thank the people who helped out in this ministry this week. I want to thank the people who went to the strategic planning meeting, the Dreaming into the Future. Thank Jerry for facilitating that. I really appreciate that. I want to thank the board and the building team. We were on a late night call and lots of emails and conversations. So thank you. I want to thank Gail Grossman, who was a centering force in something that we were trying to accomplish. I want to thank the bookstore people. They, you know, I don't thank them that much. And Barbara's still out. Hopefully by next week or the week after she'll be with us. But thank you for just taking charge of that. So appreciate it. And yes. This is just lovely that the Earth Care team did last week for Valentine's Day. That's beautiful for everybody that's taking care of the earth, and the one thing that they've decided to do to take care of that earth. Thank you. Martha Creek's going to be here. We got a sign-up dish. So buy a lot of food, because you got to. We're asking you to make a dessert for next Friday, and then Martha Creek's coming the week after, and we're asking you to bring a dish. So stock up on something so you can sign up and figure out what you're bringing. You know, that leadership, that's open to everybody. That's on a Friday night, that first Friday in March. Ron Dorham, God bless you. I just saw you. Nice to have you here. I love listening to Ron Dorham. We always have a good time together. Anyway, so that's open to everybody. And there'll be Unity of Ocala will be here. Unity of Citrus will be here. Last year we had about, what, Patricia, 64, 65 people. And it was really good because we all sat and we had dinner together. You get to talk to board members and leaders from the other churches. And we just have some good educational time and then some good chat time. Let's see. So let me give you just a brief update for anybody that's not staying for the annual meeting, a little bit of update on Fruitland Park. First, they said that their endowment board was going to give us a price. They were going to give us an asking price. Then they switched their mind around and they said, no, we want you to offer us a price. Okay, that's how we felt. So the board and the building committee did not like the appraisal. And I'm going to use John Booth's terminology. He called it a smoke and mirrors appraisal. I really like that a lot. The square footage was off by a few thousand feet. And there weren't any pictures of comparables. So we hired our own appraiser, and Kathy Capstack's meeting him tomorrow. He's going to have it finished, he believes, by Tuesday. So we'll know more then, and then we're on solid footing for what it's really worth, and then we can put in an offer. So that's where we are. And I want to remind everybody about the Racial Taboo movie. That's going to be March 7th. Next week I'm going to honor Black History Month, and so that'll be the transformational message. But I really, if you all can put on your calendar, anybody that's interested in bringing more harmony to Marion County, there's been quite a few racial incidences. There's been a lot in the schools. And so we're showing this movie for 58 minutes. Then we're going to break up in discussion groups, and then we're going to meet on a monthly basis. So we're especially calling for educators, psychologists, therapists, people who can facilitate discussion and help out there. Okay, so a couple jokes before we start. This is some 7-year-olds trying to learn about the body parts and biology. How are the main parts of the body categorized? The body consists of 3 parts: the brainium, the borax, and the abdominal cavity. The brainium contains the brain, the borax contains the heart and the lungs, and the abdominal cavity contains the 5 bowels, A, E, I, O, and U. What is the fibula? A small lie. What does varicose mean? Nearby. And the last one, give the meaning of the term cesarean section. The cesarean section is a district in Rome. All right, so what we're going to do today, about 8 times this year, we're going to bring in some thoughts about a different religion, experiences from a different religion, experiences from a minister or a rabbi or a priest from a different religion. And so today Nancy Nelson is going to start, and she's going to give you, where is Nancy Nelson? Oh, there you are. So I'm going to let her take over, and then I'm going to add on a little. Okay, you are. Okay. Shall I give you some space?
Yes, please.
All righty. There you go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Nancy Nelson, and I come from Madison, Wisconsin. I'm a retired professor and marriage and family therapist, and I'm here today to share with you a little bit of experience that I had with a rabbi. Could also be considered probably a moment of truth. Dr. Andrew Weil, in his book Healthy Aging, suggests that people write an ethical will, which he could also be called a spiritual will. He believes our greatest inheritance is to offer the best of ourselves to our offspring. They need an emotional legacy as well as a material one, and I accepted his suggestion. I started an ethical will to give my children a better idea of who I am and what really matters to me most. I began reflecting and found meaning in all of my life experiences. I am uncovering specific events and important individuals who have shaped my character. I made a list of all the important values that I hold dear and decided to write about people who influence those and why they are so important to me. And I'm sharing that with you today. In conjunction with a legacy workshop that I'm sure many of you will be attending, you may want to consider an ethical will as well. The first value that I have been exploring is the value of humanity. Early in my career, I was privileged to attend a year-long college class at Edgewood College where I was teaching, taught by Rabbi Manfred Swarzynski, entitled Jewish Life and Thought. I wanted to learn more about Judaism since my sister Betty married Eddie, whose Jewish parents had escaped Austria during the Holocaust. I heard many fascinating stories about their trials and decided that my knowledge of Jewish culture and religion was very limited. So I enrolled in a 2-semester class taught by the rabbi. Little did I realize at the time what a profound influence he would have on my life, which continues today. Rabbi Swarzinski offered considerably more than lessons about Judaism, as his stories and his behavior spoke volumes about his love for all humanity and his need for building cohesive communities. Born in primitive circumstances in a small village in Prussia, Manfred studied and received a PhD in philosophy and Semitic languages. He received his rabbinical training in Berlin, where he became the youngest rabbi ever appointed to Berlin's Jewish community. A gifted orator and captivating speaker, his fame spread throughout Europe as he spoke out frequently and passionately against the government of Adolf Hitler. He was warned to cease his defamation of the Nazi government, but he stubbornly continued. On the night of Kristallnacht, the Nazis burned his synagogue and imprisoned him in a concentration camp where he was subjected to unspeakable horrors. After many, many months in camp, he was offered his freedom on the condition that he leave Germany and never return. Upon his release, he immigrated to the United States and found his way to Madison, Wisconsin, where he became the founding rabbi of a Reformed congregation, Temple Bethel, and I spent a lot of time there, really enjoyed it. And those from Madison know what I'm talking about. Here he began a new life and became a highly respected and loved man by the entire Madison community. Never a bitter man, he believed he had survived his ordeals in order to serve people. He said, "I was saved from the ovens to be a messenger from the dead to the living." Rabbi Swarzinski, or Rabbi as everybody called him, became one of the most important moral and ethical forces in Middle America in the second half of the 20th century. He believed strongly in building bridges, not walls, between person and person, faith and faith, race and race, nation and nation, and creature and creator. He desired strong communities and worked hard to make that happen. Based on his first-hand knowledge of the horrors perpetrated by the Jews, against the Jews and others in Germany, by educated people, the rabbi made the following profound statement. We must keep in mind this shocking fact. It is possible to be educated and yet be uncivilized, to be learned and yet inhumane. I believe the dehumanization of education is one of the greatest perils of our time. Yet I see, even though man is our greatest hazard, he is also our greatest hope, to become human and humane. As a bridge builder, Rabbi was at the forefront of Judeo-Christian dialogue in Madison. He was called an apostle to the Gentiles. And although thoroughly Jewish, many referred to him as the finest Christian in Madison. He was continually involved in civil rights and other human struggles. One day a classmate said, "Rabbi, you are such a wonderful man and so much like Christ. I think you would make a great Christian." Rabbi leaned back in his chair and smiled. Then he laughed, saying, "All my life I've been a Jew, and I try to be the best possible Jew I can be. I will always be a Jew because that is my faith. I do appreciate what you're saying. I too believe Jesus Christ was an amazing man. But remember, Christ was a Jew." "Now," he said, "I want you to be the best Christian you can be. You can do that by living your life like Christ did. He was one of the most amazing, accepting, forgiving, loving, and seeker of justice. And I'm sure all of you are aware of that." I think all of us in the class knew that we were in the presence of a committed Jew. I was profoundly affected by this encounter, as I realized it was my job to faithfully practice my own beliefs and encourage others to do the same, even if I disagreed with their premise. Another memorable time was spent with the rabbi on an individual one-on-one meeting. We were all invited to meet with him in his office if we desired, and it was one of the most exciting experiences I had. Though small in stature, he was a giant because of his presence. His captivating love and energy reached out to you. He was an amazing man. Our conversation began with his asking, "What is the most interesting thing that has happened to you in the past week?" He focused totally on each individual. I shared with him the reasons why I had taken his class, and I also shared my experiences visiting a Buddhist temple that I had done that past week. He really was excited about what I was doing and encouraged me to continue and embrace ecumenical experiences. He continued to say, "Even though we are different from others due to our culture, sex, religious background, upbringing, we are all equal in God's eyes." After sharing this wonderful meeting with my husband, we coined the phrase "different from but equal to," which our children and I used anytime we were faced with people who had differences. My kids and I still use that today. Different from but equal to. During class, Rabbi shared his perspectives on life. He said, "In my moments of weakness and desponding, I have been sustained by the philosophy of the 3 H's. Humanity, humility, and humor. These 3 spiritual vitamins," he said, "can help to build up and sustain our spiritual and mental health." The first, humanity. "The most important task for humans," said the rabbi, "is to be human and humane. We must be able to feel the joys and sorrows of others as if they were our own. Preachers, teachers, and others are best when they teach, preach, and live not by precept but by example." He strongly believed in nonviolence and the value of learning to validate and respect everyone. He continually worked to build a community of understanding and appreciation among the various religious perspectives in his beloved second home, Madison. He was a terrific example of humanity. I try to follow his example and make that a core of my own life. As a parent, professor, companion, and friend, I make a conscious attempt to listen and care for family, friends, and anyone with whom I interact. I agree with Rabbi that there is value in all humans, and they need to be fully understood with all of their complexities. Each semester, I was fortunate to teach 2 classes about human relations at Edgewood College in Madison to education and marriage and family therapy students. I was encouraged from Rabbi that both my students and I need to learn to build bridges between ourselves as current and future teachers and therapists and the people in the Madison area. In the first class, we discussed sexism, racism, classism, and all of the isms. Speakers from each of the groups spoke to my classes and raised important issues. Students were required to attend 3 events outside their comfort zone. Many attended religious services other than their own, such as the Buddhist temple near Madison, the Black Baptist Church, where one of my former students was the pastor, Jewish temples, and other religious traditions. Others chose events where they had to interact with others, like the annual Indian powwow, the soup kitchen, nursing homes. The student reflection papers revealed their thinking was expanded and their eyes opened to the diversity in Madison and how that would affect their future careers. They knew the importance of making strong connections, and I do believe we started building bridges. During the second human relations class, we explored the prominent cultural groups in Madison. Wisconsin's 7 Native American tribes, the Hmong population, Hispanic, African American communities. And based on the rabbi's model of bridge building, I took many risks to bring various culture groups together. I felt that he had really inspired me to make some steps that I probably would not have had I not been inspired. Speakers from each culture group